Coming up next, What's Poppin'?
It's poppin'. It's poppin'. It's poppin'.
What's poppin', y'all? This is your go-to guy for the hour, your DJ extraordinaire, the hottest DJ out there at the hour, of course, Brian Jew, and you're listening to What's Poppin' on TBS efm 101.3. Well, it's the beginning of a new show here on TBS efm, and a lot of things have changed here, and a lot of our loyal listeners from the drive-in are tuning in right now, probably wondering, with the season change, what's going on. Well, the drive-in right now, we put it on the shelf for the season. It's not around anymore, but now we got What's Poppin'. We're going to go over brand new things, totally new show full of music, entertainment, silly news, fun guests. This is the show with the most. We got it all. We are great variety. And one great thing we're going to introduce for the first half of our show is going to be called Word Up. We'll introduce the word of the day. And all the songs in the first half are going to be related to the word of the day, word of the day. So, without further ado, we're going to start our show off with the first song. There's a big hint in the first song, so you guys will pretty much guess what the first word's going to be for the first day of the new season. So listen closely, and maybe you can guess today's word. The first song we're going to play for you right now is Fat Joe with the song Get It Poppin'. Welcome back to What's Poppin' with Brian Jew. We're on TBS efm 101.3 in Seoul and surrounding areas, and GFN 98.7 in Gwangju, and 93.7 in Yeosu. Now, we're going to give you some updates. The contact info, there are many ways you can get in contact with us here at the studio at What's Poppin'. You can call the studio at 02-778-1013 or send us a text at pound 1013 for a charge of 51 to your smartphones, or you can send us a tweet at EFM Poppin'. So that was our old Twitter account, which was at EFM Drivin', but now it is at EFM Poppin', or send us an email at efmpoppin@gmail.com. So it's pretty simple. And remember, though we're on live right now, we're going to be live only Mondays and Wednesdays this season. You can still send us messages and tweets whenever you want to, but if you call on any other day, there's not going to be anyone here to answer your phone calls. We're not trying to dish you or ignore you. That's how it is. We won't be here to answer your calls. But we are live today because this is our first show of the season. So if you want to call in right now. Our writers at the phone waiting for y'all phone calls. You can send in requests or just say, what's up to us here. That's what we love to hear from our listeners. Also, we have an announcement for our open studio. For every Friday show, we'll have an open studio going on, and we won't be live on Friday, so the open studio will be recorded at 11 a.m. on Wednesdays. But guess what? That means that you can all join me in the studio, but if you would like to come to TBS and be a part of our show, send us an email to efmpoppin@gmail.com with your name, phone number, all the details. And if you're curious about how that works, you can also email us and ask us for more information. And, feel free to just email us whenever you want to. Right now, we have so many Twitter comments right now. We have one from, what's called? This is too long. It's a Korean one, but I didn't want to read it. I had to pre-read it. Annabelle, there's so many people. Today, we're just going to name names instead of reading them all because it is our first day. We got all the TBS EFM family tuning in right now. And like I said earlier, if you guys haven't guessed, we are doing a word up word of the day system today. And the first song pretty much gave it away. If you think it's a different word, then you guys are losing it. But the first word up word of the day for this season is poppin'. Yes. It's pretty simple, wasn't it? Because you have Fat Joe in the song saying, get it poppin', pretty simple. I know a lot of you are probably thinking, is the first word of the day get it? No, we're not doing stuff like that. It's poppin'. That's right. It's the best way to start off our show because it's in the title of our show. And there are several meanings of this word as well. Making it short, quick, explosive sound, the corner's poppin'. Coming up or going quickly, suddenly, or unexpectedly. I'm popping in for a bit. Protruding from the sockets, her eyes were popping out when she heard the news. Those are a few of the, the dictionary definitions, but we all know what poppin' really means. There's other meanings for it as well. Like, when you're with your friends, you're like, what's poppin'? Or AKA, what's up? What's going on? What's happening? Those are also meanings of what's poppin'. And to get something started, you say, let's get it poppin'. A dance style that a lot of you guys are, probably know from a lot of dance movies, poppin' and lockin'. So, That's the word of the day for our word up word of the day. And we'll play another song that uses this word in the lyrics. Here's H. Wood with Could It Be You, Punk Rock Chick. Check it out. That was H. Wood with Could It Be You, Punk Rock Chick. Now, coming up on today's show, it's Tuesday. And no, that does not mean it is K-Film Tuesday. We're not the driving anymore. Instead, we're going to have Michael Jones join us in the second half for Poppin' Review. Michael will review an album from back in the day or just a few days ago. So whatever he feels like bringing into the studio, it could be old school or new school. To find out, you got to stick around. It's going to be after the first half of our show. But right now we have a song from one of my favorite dynamic duos out there. They're still in the game. They came out with a really addictive song in 2011 called Party Rock Anthem. And it inspired so many people to do random flash mobs, go crazy. You know, just they're a fun, you know, group of guys. These guys are a dynamic duo that I actually want to work with. And I'm not talking about the group Dynamic Duo, the K-pop group. I'm talking about this dynamic duo from the States who cracked me up as a group. I mean, they have some fun songs. This is Red Foo and Sky Blue, also known as LMFAO. And they came out with a song called Yes from the 2009 album Party Rock. So let's check that out, y'all. That was Yes by LMFAO. So we're coming to the end of the first half of our show. And today's word up word of the day is Poppin'. Yes, just like the name of our show. What's poppin'? And we explained earlier that you can use a word in so many different ways. And one way I urge you guys to use it in conversation is pretty much what says in the title of our show, what's poppin'? You know, if you come up to your friends, be like, hey, yo, what's poppin', Brian? Simple answer would be like, nothing much, or just chilling. Pretty much what's poppin' is like, how you doing? What's happening? You know, what's up? It's the same meaning. So now you guys know, so you can use that in a conversation. Now, it is the first half of our show, but we have some Twitter people on Twitter right now going crazy. Man's like, good to see you, Christina Ye. She's talking to other Twitter people, of course. Also, Sherlyn said, did you just hear Mike Jones in the first song? I don't think he was in the first song, was he? I'm confuzzled right now. Also, we have Christina Lee said, good morning, glad that I can still hear your voice again. May your new season bring more listeners and good songs played. Well, thank you very much, Christina, and all you listeners out there. It's so great to have you guys support me even after the first season. Now the second season has started for me. I can't believe 6 months flew by that quickly. Also, we have Brian Ju Canada. She said, is poppin' gonna be the word of the day? Obviously, we already mentioned that. So, Lisa, of course, I know who you are. Try to use that in a sentence. You know, try to email us with the word poppin' into it. I'm pretty sure Eugene will find out a way to use that in our program one day or this week. So, thank you for tuning in. But right now, we have the final song of the first half of our show. It's by the Kooky. I call him Kooky because it's R. Kelly. He's known for his kooky ways. And it's for his 2003 album, Chocolate Factory. And the song that we're going to play for you for the first half, or the first end of our half of our show, is Ignition. And I'll be back with Mr. Mike Jones, where he's going to be doing his album review on What's Poppin'. Check it out. I had a Twitter request by May Ann. She wrote, with all being said, I can request NSYNC Pop since it's the word of the day. That's true. So, man, this is for you. This is NSYNC with Pop, and I'll be back for the second half of our show. Welcome back to the second half of What's Poppin'. And in this section, obviously it's called Paparazzi, where we'll give you news, updated news about celebrity news both inside and outside of Korea. Now, today's story comes from the case of Conrad Murray. And you remember Conrad Murray, the doctor who was convicted and is already serving time for his role in the unfortunate death of Mr. Michael Jackson. Well, the legal system in the U.S. is kind of whack, and what do I mean by this? Well, Conrad Murray is a key witness against AEG, the company that hired Murray to be Jackson's doctor. Now, wait a second. You mean to tell me you're already serving time, but you want to use the Fifth Amendment to protect the company that hired you and ended up getting you locked up? This makes no sense. That's a little crazy, and I don't understand. Maybe someone from AEG is paying Conrad Murray for being silent, just keep him quiet. And either way, though, you've already been convicted guilty. People are hating on you already. I'm pretty sure. I gotta be honest, Michael Jackson is one of my favorite artists of all time. So, Conrad Murray, I'm not too happy with you. If I see you in the street, you better stay away from me because I might do something that I shouldn't do. And you might as well cooperate with authorities as well, to save you time. And if you want to live a longer life, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be people trying to get after you. Anyway, this story is just so sad and sickening, so let's go on to the next song, and I'll be back with Mr. Mike Jones for Poppin' Review. This is Michael Jackson with Man in the Mirror. Welcome back to What's Poppin', and now it's time for What's Poppin' Review with Mike Jones. What's up, Mike?
Hello, Brian. Hello, everybody. We're back.
We're back.
We're back, but we look different.
Do we look different?
Yeah, I've got a big red nose on.
Oh, yes, you do. You're a clown today?
Yeah, aren't we supposed to dress like this?
Yes, because today is What's Poppin' Halloween Day.
Oh, dang it! I missed it, didn't I? Oh.
But a lot of listeners are probably
All right.
confused. They're like, what happened to Jason? Where's the K-Film Tuesdays? Well, actually, we're not the driving anymore. It's What's Poppin'.
Poppin'.
Yes.
I just said the magic word.
Poppin'.
Ah!
This ain't Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Oh, okay.
This is B-Juice Playhouse.
B-Juice Playhouse. Hey, Brian, you know what we're doing on this Poppin' review thing?
What are we doing?
We're doing a chance for listeners to listen to old tunes. Listen to, I don't like to say old tunes because that puts that like whole picture in people's mind that I'm going to be listening to 50s stuff, and we're not really going to be doing that.
Yeah.
It's more of a chance to just listen and learn something about some of the music that maybe people
lot
tend to
of people don't know.
forget
Yeah.
about, and maybe they just
It could
don't
be-
know about.
It could even be independent songs or I said actors, musicians.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. In fact, I've got a lineup of a bunch of independent music.
Well, I'm excited. Look
I know,
at me.
it's exciting.
All my feelings and emotions just
Bubbling out.
bubbling inside of me.
Yes.
Yes. I'm like a big bottle of champagne.
Fair enough.
I'm going to be popping soon.
Yes. So, this week, what I brought in for Poppin' Review.
What did you bring
You
in?
know, like most people, not most. I need to watch my most. A lot of people are completely unfamiliar with this band.
Okay.
They know a lot of their early work, but they kind of don't know about their later work.
Is it a band that I would know?
You would know this band.
Okay.
You would know this band, and it's a band. Of course, you would know this band. It's a band that actually, I don't know. They went through a bunch of transitions. Like every album that they did, they kind of evolved. They started
Boyz
off.
II Men?
Well, it's kind of like Boyz II Men. Actually, they inspired Boyz II Men in many ways.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay.
The album I'm talking about today was actually voted by Rolling Stone the #1 album of all time.
Really now?
Yep. Can you guess what it is?
Brian, Fly to the Sky?
It's that was second.
Okay.
Yeah,
Rolling
unfortunately-
Stone actually had Fly to the Sky on their review.
No, they didn't. Sorry. They may have. I don't.
You never
yeah,
know.
You got to check that. No, the #1 album of all time, according to Rolling Stone. And the #1 album in my heart, which I was quite excited about that, is the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. That's hard to say.
Yes.
Sgt. Pepper's
Lonely Hearts Club
Homely
Band.
Heart Clubs. I was going to say it
You said
back.
Honey Hearts.
Honey Hearts.
Only, it's lonely.
Lonely.
Yes.
Can you say it 5 times fast?
Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Band. Sgt. Pepper's
You
Lonely
missed the
Hearts
club.
Band.
Yes.
Club. I forgot club.
Oh, man.
That's a tongue twister for you.
It is.
Alrighty. So, what do you want to talk about this album?
Well,
How you want? Yeah.
well,
how you do
basically, I guess the big thing is I just want to talk about what's great about it.
this? Okay. So, what's great about this album?
What's great about the album? There are a ton of things. #1, it's the Beatles, man.
It is the Beatles.
It is the Beatles. Now they made roughly about 13 different albums, and each of them, as I said, I know they made. How many did you make?
Probably
with
10, and then solo albums like about 13, 14.
Okay,
in my-
there you go. So
yeah.
Brian Jew is the Beatles.
But I mean, it's different nowadays. In K-pop, you have to come out with an album like every week.
Okay.
You know, because people want change too often.
And does like I don't know, like I'm not totally in the K-pop scene very much. Does I mean, obviously there's always an evolution. Like every album you produce, there would have been an evolution, a kind of creative leap with each album that you
Pretty much. That's what, with the Fly to Sky albums, that's pretty much what we did with the titles of the album.
Right.
And, we just tried to make it so that it connected and it was like a huge story.
Yep.
So when our last album, Decennium, came out, it was pretty much a wrap up of our 10 years together as a group.
Okay.
Yes. And then from that point on, I just did my own thing. And It's the same thing. Basically, music is just a real life story put into song.
Okay.
Of your own life.
Okay.
Pretty much, I think.
Yep. And it's a perfect example of this group too. And they really did. They went through a bunch of evolution and they changed. Sorry, got a little bit distracted there for a second.
It's okay.
Yeah, went through an evolution. They've gone through a lot of change. What's cool about this album, though, is like this album was a game changer for the Beatles. The Beatles up to this point had been playing, Love, Love Me Do. You know that song?
I do know that
I
song,
want
but-
to hold your hand, all that stuff. So they had been that mop top kind of clean, somewhat, well, they weren't considered clean cut, but somewhat clean cut band wearing suits and ties and like going out and rocking big stadiums and stuff. And they had reached the apex of their popularity, and they were tired of it. the Beatles were tired and they wanted to do something different. They wanted to really stretch themselves and get creative. So they took like a big long break. I think they took about a year and a half break or whatever, and they went off in their separate ways. And they, George Harrison went to India, learned how to play the sitar. They experimented with certain things, and when
they did their own solo.
They did their own stuff. And
Okay.
when they came back, they really wanted to get into something new. And this is kind of what happened. This is what happened. And some great music on it.
We got to listen to some of the Beatles
We
music,
do.
of course. And we have a song from the Beatles right now. Do you think a lot of people will know this song?
I think they will. I think a lot of people, if they've not heard it, a lot of people maybe think it's Joe Cocker who actually wrote and sang this song.
But
He's
this
the
is
one
actually-
who really made it popular, kind of mainstream.
But originally from
the Beatles, and written by, of course, John and Ringo. I mean, John and Paul.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
this is the first song from the Beatles.
Sorry, this is sung by Ringo. That's why
Ringo, but
right.
then this is the first song we're going to play for you of the Beatles. And
Yep.
this is With a Little Help from My Friends. All right, welcome back to What's Poppin' for Poppin' Review. The song that actually went out was not With a Little Help from My
Nope.
Friends.
Nope.
The name of the song was...
Only a Northern Song. It was actually
Yes.
from the Yellow Submarine album, which came out after this.
Yes, so we actually had the wrong song in the system. But you know what that means. It's the first day of the season. And you know what they say in business. When little accidents and mistakes like this happen, that means great things are expected to happen in the future.
That's right. And what's cool about this song, actually, that maybe it's kismet that it happened, is that you get to hear a lot of what the Beatles eventually kind of did, is they started experimenting with music, and especially, for example, in the Lonely Hearts Club Band album, they actually introduced a couple of the different effects that are really, really common in music today. For example, the wah-wah pedal. Wah, 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 like when they hit a guitar. And
Oh,
it
so
goes,
they
wah.
did that.
They didn't invent it, but they were the one who really kind of brought it in to the recording studio.
Commercialized it pretty much.
Right, and like as you were saying, as that song was singing just a sec ago, Brian, you said it sounds like there's 3 songs going on.
Yeah, I was confused
and
a little bit.
That's what they were doing. They were tired of being the 3 chords and the truth kind of. Well, in their case, not even the truth. 3 chords and some story about a girl. They really wanted to experiment, and they wanted to break the mold of what the Beatles were, and they did. For the next 5 albums, they absolutely transformed music in a sense. I mean, they were the inspiration for how many different psychedelic rock bands that came
So
after
basically, the Beatles are known for breaking the rules.
They broke the rules. They broke the rules. They pulled a Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan was another.
He cray.
Yeah, he went, but he made a lot of people angry because beginning of his career, he got his name as being an acoustic player and being such a folk singer and la la la, and suddenly one day he picked up a guitar, an electric guitar, and
He fell in love with it. So
he fell in love with it. He played live, and he made a whole crowd of people really angry. And he just didn't care. He's like, this is what I'm doing. This is
what's
creativity.
difficult for musicians. Like even for me, like where I am in the business, it's like I want to change my music and transition into different styles.
Right.
And styles of music that I enjoy listening to. So if I went from R&B, hip hop,
Okay.
and all of a sudden did rock, funky, fusion or something,
Okay.
people are like, oh, why are you doing that? I only do it because that's who I am.
Right.
I like listening to that music.
Have you actually tried like recording some rock music?
Actually, a few years ago, I helped an independent band from Seattle.
Okay.
Called, oh my gosh, I can't even think of their name all of a sudden. Because
That band that is really good that Brian was with, in case you're listening.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
the song that I helped them was kind of rockish.
Okay.
It was called Nightmare, and it was a great single. It was very rock, Linkin Park type of rock.
Okay.
And I loved being a part of that group.
Okay. Cool.
In a way, I was like, I missed the whole group vibe being a solo artist.
I think you should do this is what I think you should do. I think you should do a recording of like Frank Sinatra songs or something.
Frank Sinatra songs.
Yeah, I could totally see you, dressed up in the tuxedo on stage. Actually, Seth MacFarlane.
Yes,
You know who he
yes.
is. Okay, well, he actually released an album of like "Come Fly with Me" kind of songs. Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, these old kind
Michael Bublé did something like that too.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Michael Bublé, he's actually made it really, really, kind of brought it back.
Yeah.
I think you could do it, man. I think you could pull that off.
I want to do a bunch of Michael Jackson songs.
That would
from
be great.
When he was a kid from Jackson 5
Oh,
days.
man, that would be killer. There you
Yeah.
go. Instead of Thriller, it would be Killer.
I wouldn't kill anybody.
No, I mean, it would be Killer.
You want a killer?
No, dude, that's not what I mean.
Oh.
No, I meant it would
The killer
it would be Killer.
album?
It would be a killer album, like cool Killer.
I was like, I don't want to kill nobody.
Oh, man, this is starting off really...
All right, we'll get our heads together right now. We have another Beatles song for you guys.
And this song is awesome. This is my favorite song of all time, actually.
Is it?
Yep.
Your favorite song of all time?
It is the favorite song of all
I'm
time.
going to listen to it and judge you on this song.
All right.
All right. This
All right.
is the Beatles with Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds.
Lucy in the sky.
That was the Beatles with Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Obviously, we're not going to be a singing group because we can't even be in harmony.
Nope. Well,
Mike, you ruined it.
Dude, you got to train me.
Train you?
Yeah.
I charge for that.
Oh, come on, dude.
My training brings other boys to the yard. That's right. I don't know where that song came
awesome. Fair enough.
Yes,
it's a random
police.
moment. Another Brian Jew random moment
we're
brought to you by Brian Jew.
We're a music program, and I wanted to bring out some Khalees.
You got to.
Alrighty.
got
Well,
to.
now we went over a lot of the Beatles songs.
We did. We went over a couple. You know, that song's really cool.
It is a good song.
It's cool. A lot of people think.
Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds.
Well, you know, the first letters of that are Lucy with the sky with diamonds. LSD.
Oh, that's why.
Now,
so these guys weren't, they weren't, what I'm talking about. I don't want
Right.
to say the word on radio.
You know, they were experimenting with things.
Things to
Yes.
write this song and.
But here's the thing. A lot of people think that it means LSD, which is a drug that no one should ever take because it's really bad for you. All right? All right? Okay, anyway. A lot of people think, oh, well, because they were experimenting with this stuff, that's why they came up with Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds.
But an LSD could be a lot of
The
different
reality is, this is what John Lennon said. John Lennon said that it has nothing to do with that he actually had drawn a picture for his son, Julian, who eventually became a singer himself. He drew a picture for Julian, and he liked the picture so much that it inspired the song.
Okay.
Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds.
So
Some
with
psychedelic thing.
With that inspiration, how did this song or this album inspire you? Like, how would you rate this or evaluate this album?
Well, I would have to, I usually have a rating system, right?
Okay.
In the old show I had the punchometer. Now I've got the groovometer, Brian.
Okay.
Yeah. And so with each week, what I'll do is I'll give a certain kind of groove word that really describes what I think about it and the emphasis for it. So this album, I would give from the groovometer a groovy rating of it's groovy, baby.
So it's a great album.
It's a great album, and everybody, if you've not listened to this, you need to listen to it, and listen to it at least 3 times because it'll get under your skin and make you a huge Beatles fan.
Alrighty. Since time is running out, that's the end of our show for What's Poppin' today. Please stay tuned for 1013 Main Show with An Jun-hyun next. And if you're listening to GFN down in Gwangju, stay tuned for Hello Korea. And Mike, will you please introduce the last song?
Last song is Lovely Rita by the Beatles from Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Have a good day, everybody.
Have a great day. This is Mike Jones and Brian G signing off. Peace!